Namaste, namaste, namaste. What a wonderful pleasure, as always, to gather together with my beloved family of friends. It's always a great joy to share with our loved ones. We share because we care. Okay, so today I think I wanted to talk about the energization and healing technique, transmission technique that we talked about last time when we were together. I feel that it's really important that we really understand how these things work, that we don't just blindly practice and participate in things that we don't know what they are, how they work. It's kind of dogmatic to just do something and not know what you're doing it for, how it works. I mean, why are you doing it? So, and the spinning the hands and the om and all this, what is, what's going on, I know I always question, and it's good. Questioning is good. We should always question. I always say, don't ever believe a word I say. Always check it. And don't believe a word anybody says. Always check it. Always find out. Always know. There's always people out there trying to tell you all kinds of stuff. So I think there's a lot of people stumble with their spiritual progress simply because they just don't know why, or maybe they don't have a correct and complete understanding of why they're doing something in their spiritual sadhana. Why are they doing it? And so we're going to, explain why and how this healing energy transmission technique works. It's very simple, but it's relatively technical to explain, and we have to understand some things to understand it, I believe. We need to know that in the Bible, when it says that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God, we need to understand this technique. We need to understand that in the Bible. What are they talking about when they say that? There's some pretty cryptic statement, some pretty cryptic words in there. We have to take into consideration that it was 2,000 years ago, and that they really didn't speak the same way that we speak today. They really didn't have a word for vibration, except for the word. Because when you use a word, when you say a word, you get this vibrating effect in your throat. And you have to have a vibrating effect in your throat to make a word. And so they associated the two with, together. So 2,000 years ago in the Middle East, their description for vibration is word, because thousands of years ago they just didn't have the word vibration. And when they speak in the Bible of the mouth of God, I'd like to suggest that they're, again, having a different terminology. And if in today's terminology, they're not speaking of some metaphorical mouth in the sky somewhere, or some words emanating from somewhere, from some mouth. It's actually describing the point on our body, which is called the medulla oblongata, which, being the mouth of God, is where the energy enters, where God's energy enters our body, is in through the medulla oblongata. The same way that the mouth of a river opens up into a larger body of water, that's the same thing. God's entering through that mouth right there, and into our medulla oblongata, down into our spine, through the electromagnetic circuitry of the body, energizing and vivifying and bringing the body to life and bringing the body to consciousness. And in the spinal column, the 7 chakras, and in the brain and the 1,000-rayed lotus, and we have consciousness. And this energy is going in and out like this. And when we practice to learn to withdraw that energy and settle that and actually reverse that and bring that back into the spine and back up into the brain, we're learning to control the life force that's in us. And I'd like to suggest that the control of life force is pranayama. Prana is life force and yama is control. So we're controlling the life force when we take control of that that's just going into us, and we are starting to control it. And we can realize that that energy that flows into us like that, that is what sustains us. That is what makes us alive. That food is actually unnecessary after we have learned to actually know and live that truth, that man shall live not by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. When we're doing this technique of transmitting healing energy, we're just allowing that energy to flow through us. We know it's flowing through us, but we're directing it, and we're practicing with it, and we're controlling it, controlling that life force, and we're directing it to the benefit of our brothers and sisters, the world at large. We can learn and practice how to do that. We were made to do that. We're supposed to do that. We don't have to do that, though. It's all right if you don't. It's perfectly fine. But we can. Some of us want to. And, I'd like to suggest that we don't need any special attunements or any special permission from anyone to be able to do it, that we can all do it. All we have to do is have the dedication and devotion and fortitude to actually do it and follow through, and following our Guru's teachings, our spiritual guide's teachings, and we can all do this on our own. So another concept that was difficult to describe, 2,000 or more years ago, was the idea of transmitting and receiving, like a radio, transmitting a signal and a radio receiving a signal. But, that's what we are. We are living, transmitting and receiving stations. And we can do that. We do it all the time. And if we work with it and practice with it and exercise it, and what I like to call going into the intuitional weight room, where we exercise things like that, our ability to transmit and receive feelings and energies between each other, we should do that. We should exercise it. We were made to do that. And we don't have to do that, but it's okay to do that. And it's okay not to do that. We have to realize that it works very just like a radio. You have to tune in on a radio. You have to tune into a certain particular channel. You can't have it on a little off the channel or in between two channels, or you're getting static, or a couple other channels talking at once and you can't understand this. So you got to have, focused on one channel. So focusing on one channel is like putting all your concentration at one point, on one person, on one thing. And when two people are transmitting and receiving in this way, as I said in the beginning, it's very simple. It's as simple as putting your attention on each other and focusing on each other. And one can easily transmit while the other receives, and the other can easily transmit and back and forth this way. Lots of people do it. It's the way we were designed to live. It's a wonderful way to live. And simply by using your will to will for that connection and that transmission and receiving to occur, it occurs. And it's very powerful. The more you practice it, the more powerful it gets. I recommend we practice it all the time. But every night at 10:05, I'm transmitting loving, healing vibrations to all that are willing and hoping and wanting and tuning in to receive it. When I say tuning in, I don't mean, just, thinking about it. I mean literally, like you would tune in a radio right on one channel. You're not listening into any other channels. So that means you'd have to sit right down. Focus all your attention on the fact that you would be receiving this. So, I recommend that you actually sit down in a chair and put your palms on your lap with your your hands on your lap with your palms up, and visualize and concentrate on the idea of receiving what is being transmitted into your palms and into your third eye, into your forehead. Put your concentration at the point between your forehead, or on your forehead, between your eyes. And visualize the energy. Everybody knows radio waves are in the air everywhere, and so are these healing rays and energies all in the air everywhere, and they're being transmitted, and you can receive them, and you can transmit them. Everyone can. We all can. We all should, but we don't have to. fortunately, we're free to not have to do that if we don't want to. And it's perfectly okay to just receive and not transmit. And it's perfectly okay to transmit and not receive. It's okay too. I like to do both. So, it's simple, and it gets more powerful every time you do it. Your concentration needs to build up and get more focused. You need to get better tuned in, so to speak. Tuning in, it's important. We want to tune in with our guru, our spiritual guides and teachers, so that we can actually understand them, actually get benefit from it. So it seems quite simple. I'll be transmitting, and I hope everybody will be receiving. 10:05. I'm in New York, so I don't know whoever's watching this. If you're in other country somewhere, we're gonna have to figure out the timing zone on that and everything. And I apologize for all the people who cannot understand what I'm saying. I wish I could translate it. This is the only language I know, so right now I have wonderful friends, and namaste. Thank you, Betty, so much for your teaching me Hindi. I hope to learn Hindi from you. Thank you. Namaste. And I'm always glad that we can get together like this. Anytime anybody wants to come by the place of peace, which is where I am right now here, everybody's welcome to come by. Call, let me know you're coming by. We need to kind of make an appointment. So everyone's always welcome. So I hope that I explained it thoroughly about the transmission of this healing. It's a healing of the mind, body, and soul. Not just one. It's all three. And we'll discuss the importance of all that another time, but I just want you to know that it's not just for broken legs and sick people. It's for broken hearts, as well as confusion and distraught situations of all kinds, or whatever, or even just thankfulness for the abundance and blessings. All it's the full range of healing. So to keep this kind of brief, because they tell me we must keep these brief, I will say thank you. Thank you for taking the time out to listen and send your prayers and your spiritual support and your financial support to keep us going. We go purely by your donations, and we need them, and thank you for them. So God bless you all. Namaste. 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 Welcome. It's always such a wonderful blessing and a beautiful thing to be able to get together with my wonderful family of friends, my beloved family. And of course we have our sunny love chirping in the background for us to keep us amused. So, yes, I wanted to talk today about the healing vibrations that I send out every night at 10:05. 10:05 every night. I get in front of the altar and I do the following technique, sending God's energy out through my body, allowing it to flow through my body, through the electromagnetic circuitry of my body, and out of my hands and out of my forehead, the third eye, the Katastha Chaitanya, the Christ Consciousness Center. And I send this out, transmit it, I say, is how I refer to it. Even though I'm not really doing anything, I'm just allowing God's unfailing, almighty, healing, vibrational energy to just pass through and kind of be directed out to anyone who might want to be receiving it. I'm transmitting, they're receiving. Anyone who wants to sit with their hands on their lap, with their palms up, and focusing their attention at the point between the eyebrows, the Christ Consciousness Center, and just focus on receiving those healing energies that I'm transmitting, it will be so. It will be done. And it's a very powerful technique. It's very effective. It's very simple. That's why it's so effective. And it's all God. That's why it's so effective. I'm just the instrument. And as we know, when we go to a concert and we see the violinist play the violin so eloquently, and we clap and applaud afterwards, we're not clapping for the violin, but we are clapping for the skills and talents and appreciation for the violinist, the one that plays the violin. And we don't give a real lot of thought to the violin itself. So we do that here with this too. So you'll see when I do the technique, I rub my hands together and I spin my hands around like this. This is because I'm opening a pathway and trying to draw the Creator's energy in through my medulla oblongata, down through the spine, along the electromagnetic circuitry of the body, and out of my hands, vibrating out into the world, and out of my forehead, out of my third eye, the Christ Consciousness Center, to anyone who might be receiving anywhere in the world. Just like radio waves are received everywhere. These are received just the same everywhere. They're in the entire ethers everywhere. And anyone who wants to receive them is receiving them more when they focus on receiving them. I'll do the technique now. O my great and wondrous Creator, Thou art omnipresent, Thou art in all Thy children. Manifest Thy healing presence in their bodies, for the good of all, in order to glorify Thee. So might it be. O my great and wondrous Creator, Thou art omnipresent, Thou art in all Thy children. Manifest Thy healing presence in their bodies and their minds, for the good of all, in order to glorify Thee, so might it be. O my great and wondrous Creator, Thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all Thy children. Manifest Thy healing presence in their bodies, in their minds, and in their souls, for the good of all, only to glorify Thee, God. All the glory to Thee, so might it be. Thank you, God. Thank you, my great and wondrous Creator. Thank you for always listening to, hearing, and answering all of my prayers. Even when the answer is no, I still thank you. Thank you for not giving me the things that wouldn't be good for me. And thank you for answering my greatest prayer, to send Guru to guide me home to you. Thank you, God, for sending Guru. Thank you, Guru, for guiding me. Now, today, all tomorrows, and every instant, in sleep and in wakefulness, in life and in death, in this world and in the beyond, I will to remain Thine always. So remain Thou with me, as the constantly, consciously responding joy of my heart. And may Thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of my devotion, that I may be able to awaken Thy love in all sleeping hearts and souls, for the good of all, only to glorify Thee, God. All the glory to Thee. Om. Peace. Om. Shanti. Om. Mani Padme Hum. Amen. This technique was taught to me by my guru, Paramhansa Yogananda, in his lessons, and it's a little bit different because Guru always encouraged us to do something new, to not just copy and follow along, do what everybody else is doing. To feel in your heart and to commune with God and go with that deep inner guidance. Not some whimsical, desire-based guidance, but a wisdom-based guidance that can only come from God. It can't come from our own imagination or our own choosings. I think we can see from the condition of the world that our ways are flawed. And if we could just closely examine our Creator's ways, we could start correcting some of these flaws. This is what I hope we can do as a spiritual family, working together. Not telling people what to do, but with the example of our lives, following our Guru's teachings, and being a perfect example for others to follow. without force. They'll see the beauty and bliss and happiness and wondrousness of this way, and they'll want it. You don't have to force it on anybody or try to talk anybody into it. We'll have to talk them out of it once they realize it. And there will be no talking anyone out of it once they realize what they're missing. I want to make this brief, so God bless you, my brothers and sisters. Namaste, namaste, namaste.